Welcome back to Financial Times in the Car Line. Got about 20 minutes before I pick up my kid and drop some knowledge about the banking industry on you. This one's going to revolve around student loans. Let's get into it. So you may notice with your student loans, it's kind of getting hard to pay them off, or it seems like you're just going around and round in circles and you're not paying them off. And the bill is just constantly staying steady and slowly decreasing, but almost looks like it's rising. And it's like, what the heck, man? I'm making my payments every month. I've been paying additional $15 a month. It's like, what's going on? Well, let me break down to you how student loans actually work once you graduate and once you start paying on them. So when you go to school, let's say you go to school for 4 years, and you break it down to where you take out student loans every semester, that's a different loan every semester. So when you graduate, that's 8 semesters worth of loans. So you will notice on your student loan bill, if you haven't done what they call a consolidation, there are 8 different loans you're paying on. So I'll give you an example. So I paid off my student loans probably about 3 years ago, but I graduated in like 2002, and I mean, we're talking about 2023, 2024 maybe, and I'm like, dude, it has been 22 years I've been making payments on this, and I still owe $11,000. Like, what the heck, man? Like, it just keeps going. It doesn't ever stop. So then, I started to dig deeper into it, try to figure out why, and I noticed on my bill there were 5 different loans that I was paying on. So the minimum monthly payment was $222 a month. And they would take that and they would split it amongst those loans. And it's like pennies to where you're getting the interest on each loan. Because think about it, when you split, let's just call it $100 amongst 5 loans, that's $20 a loan. Well, in that $20, there's probably $14 of interest. So only $6 is going to the principal. Don't forget, loans accumulate interest on a daily basis and are billed monthly. So the best part is I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is this loan AA, and then loan AB, and then loan CC? So I called my servicer, and I was like, what's going on there? Like, well, yeah, those are the different semesters that you had taken loans out. I was like, all right. So can I made a principal payment last month. Principal only of $50. They took that $50 and split it amongst the 5 accounts. So as principal, $10 on each account. I was like, oh my goodness, this makes no sense. So, it makes perfect sense because that's how they keep you in debt. So I was like, all right, well, what's my loan that I owe the least on was like loan AA. And there was like $1,800 left on that, but I owed, 11 grand, whatever. I was like, all right, let's pay that off. So I paid off that loan. Boom. I got rid of it as quickly as possible. But I had to specify on the check that I was mailing in, apply to principal only on loan code AA. So you got to ask your servicer, if I send in a principal only payment, how do I address it to the lowest volume first? And what I did is I paid off the lowest one first, paid off the next one, and it only took me like 7 or 8 months, and then adios, student loans were paid off. And and that's just the whole scenario as to how they keep you rolling in the same cycle. So look at your statement, figure out exactly, if you're not in a consolidation, figure out exactly how the loans break down. My recommendation, this is all it is, just advice. Not financial advice, but just personal advice. Tackle the lowest one first. Just get rid of it. Or there might be varying interest rates. My wife has one, and there's 4 loans on it, and one's got an interest rate of 13.75. So right now we're paying off that one. All the interest or principal only goes directly to that one, because the other ones are like 6.9 and 7.2, and then there's one that's like 13.75. It's insane. So we're getting that one paid off, which hopefully should be paid off in the next couple months, and then we'll tackle the other ones. So there's a million different ways to quote unquote go about it, but the easiest way is to probably pick the lowest denominational amount and just pay it off. Just get it done with. So I hope this kind of clears up the frustrating feeling, because trust me, anyone out there who's paying on student loans, I'm sure has come across this. And if you did know prior, hey, sweet, good for you. Share it with your friends. Spill the tea. When you talk about student loans, just say, hey, are you paying it off? Are you paying the right loan off first? Or are you just making blanket minimum payments every month? That's spread out amongst 5 or 6 loans. I mean, I know for a fact, I talked about this with a friend of mine about a year ago, and he had 9. There were 9 loans on there, and he's paying $400 a month, and I'm like, they're applying nothing to the principal. It was bananas. So, he's well on his way to getting those paid off. The other thing is, look at your rate. Look into refinancing. If you're on a structured loan payoff with your loan servicer, and it's a 30-year payment, but you only owe $15,000, refinance it into a 5-year loan. Your payment might go up $150 or something like that, but you'll have a fixed set rate, and it'll be one loan, and you can pay the principal on that. Or another way to do it, take a chunk off in a balance transfer on a credit card. That's another good way to do it. If you want to do a balance transfer, take $5,000 or $6,000 off your student loans, do an 18-month transfer or a 15-month transfer, whatever it may be. They're going to charge you 3% typically, but your credit card company will charge you 3%. But then you can pay for the next 15 months or 12 months interest free on that loan, and that could help you chop them down quicker. So just keep that in mind. 100 different ways to approach the world of finance. This is just one of them. So hopefully that clears it up. Hopefully that clears up some frustration. Financial Times with Ted. Post your comment below how long you've been paying on your student loans. Would love to hear it, and maybe tell your story. Maybe your story can help other people. You have a good one.